Can you hear me?
Yes, Robert, we can hear you. Let me just confirm that everybody's in here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Didi, chair and vice chair, all the committee members have joined that were in the previous meeting have joined this meeting.
All right, thank you, everyone.
And the meeting is being recorded.
All right, meeting is being recorded, but not live streamed
Yes.
right now. All right, Didi, we have Gompers. We have Mark from Gompers.
I do have Jacqueline, the grant writer, and Charles Foley from Gumpers, and they're joining the meeting right now.
All right. All right, let me know when they're
in the room.
All right. Gompers team, welcome. Sorry, we had a little bit of an technical delay, but it looks like we're back on track. So I wanted to thank you. Welcome and thank you for your time here today. I am Matt Dudley. I'm the vice chair of the MAG ad hoc committee for EPDT. I'd just like to go over maybe a few things before we begin. And to keep track of time, staff will indicate the time remaining at both the 5 and the 1 minute mark, and that this interview is being recorded. And for your presentation, just provide an introduction, include the names and titles of those that are presenting today, and give us a very brief overview of your agency. We're looking like 1 minute. But most importantly, please describe your project request and the need, and the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. So with that, could you please begin?
Certainly, thank you so much. Appreciate the time, everybody's time. With me today is Jackie Ehrenberg. She is our grant writer. Mark Botterbush, our VP of Operations, and who's on the MAG Mobility Management team, got pulled away on an operational issue that needed his attention. So I'm stepping in Mark's stead. Gompers has been around. In fact, we're celebrating our 75th anniversary this year. So we are a very long-term Arizona nonprofit organization serving primarily adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We have 3 locations in the Valley. We have 4 different programs: day training, treatment and adult, employment services, in-home services such as respite, attendant care, and habilitation. And we have our Gompers private school. We currently have about 220 employees, trying to get back to our pre-pandemic level of over about 300 employees, and serving about 650 of these adults with intellectual and developmental disability. So that's Gompers in a nutshell.
All right, thanks. Can you give a description of your project request?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jackie.
I have it written down so that I didn't detail it, didn't forget all the details. But overall, the request is to help us maintain and improve our transportation program. Our members, I would say 95% of them are not able to use public transportation. So they greatly rely upon our transportation program to get them to and from our facility for our programming, as well as to and from job sites that we have all over the Valley. And that is why we asked for, well, actually we asked for 5 vans for totaling $382,000. 3 of those being mini vans with ramps, and 2 of them being cutaways with lifts. Preventative maintenance at the level of $125,000 to focus on just making sure that our giant MAG 5310 fleet is properly maintained and is running for years and years to come. And we have an older fleet, and so with the increase of transportation of people on the road since after the pandemic, we've been seeing a lot of troubles, I would say. I don't know how to exactly put it with other drivers and the traffic on the road. So we're requesting $6,000 in cameras to install in the older vehicles so that we can keep maintain that we're driving the right way and that people aren't hindering our transportation program. So that is what we're looking for within our program ourselves. But we also are looking for $45,000 specifically for our mobility management program, which we are helping with all the other organizations in the valley improve the skills of the drivers who are in those transportation programs throughout the valley.
All right, thank you, Jackie and Charles. Let's begin with questions from the committee. Are there any questions from the committee? All right, I'm hearing none. It must have been very good, Jack. I got a question. Could you tell us what would be the effect to your program if you were not awarded some of these funds? What would be the impact to Gompers?
Well, you know, like a lot of nonprofits and agencies in this specific part of the nonprofit world, we would just have to dig a little bit deeper and find some other sources, because what we're asking for is necessary for the plans that we have when it comes to growing our program. And not only just growing our program, but related to the dash cams is something new. We've gotten a number of vehicles through MAG before. You know, the mobility management is something continual that we request and receive on an annual basis. And the maintenance as well when that first came up. The dash cams is something new. And as Jackie was saying, what this is going to do is going to help not only keep, I think, a better record of when events happen. I think we all have seen and heard that there is an increase in traffic incidents ever since the pandemic got over and we got back to the world that we currently are living in. The nice thing about the cameras that we're looking at as well is that it's going to improve our driver education, training, and safety as well, because with it, it's a two-way camera that looks both outward and inward. And not only do we have an existing GPS monitoring system that lets us know, you know, is the driver braking hard? Is there, you know, speeding going on? Is there that kind of thing? But we're also going to be able to see with the cameras as well, if they are following our policies and protocols as far as not being on a cell phone, you know, during the operation of the vehicle and that type of thing. So again, long answer to your question. Will it, you know, change how we're doing things? No, like I said, we will just dig a little bit deeper, because these are things that we just think are really going to make us a better agency and be able to provide better and safer transportation for our members and staff.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Charles.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions from the committee?
Vice Chair Dudley, this is Nancy. I have a question.
All right, go ahead, Nancy.
Hi, yeah, Jacqueline, you mentioned that these cameras were going to be installed in an older fleet. So does that mean that your newer fleet, excuse me, already has dash cams? Or did I mishear that?
No, not at all. No, we were just talking about the ones that we've received previously, not the 5 we're requesting today.
Yeah, to just flesh it out a little bit more, our goal is to equip all of the MAG related vans with the two-way dash cameras. And then we're working on additional funding outside of the MAG request to outfit the rest of our fleet, because we have a fleet of about 45 vehicles right now. And so I think it's roughly about half of that is MAG related. And so outside of the MAG request, we're also looking for funding, grant funding, to help us outfit and equip all of our vans with the two-way cameras.
Thank you, that's helpful.
Good.
Thanks for the question, Nancy. Any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Charles, Jackie, thank you very much for coming to the committee today and explaining your application. We
You're
really
most
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Chair and Vice Chair, the next agency is Southern Arizona Association for the Visually Impaired. SAQs, are they ready?
Yes, we have Mike Gordon with Savvy, and they are joining the meeting. Mike, can you hear us? Hello, Mike?
It looks like he's still connecting to audio.
Yes.
There we go. Oh, almost.
Hello, Mike? Can you hear us?
Hello,
Mike?
there we go.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't see that we were online here yet. So,
Well, welcome and thank you for your time here today. I'm
Sure thing.
Matt Dudley. I'm the vice chair of the MAG EPDT ad hoc committee.
okay,
And I would just like to go over a few things right before we begin.
sure thing.
And to keep track of time, staff from MAG will indicate how much time is remaining at the 5 and the 1 minute mark, and that this interview is being recorded. And for your presentation, we would like you to provide an introduction, include your name and title of any of those that are presenting, and give us a very brief overview of your agency, looking about 1 minute for that overview. But most importantly, please describe your project request and the needs for the remaining 8 minutes. And then the remainder of the time will be open for the questions from the committee. With that, could you please begin?
Sure. My name is Mike Gordon. I'm the CEO of Savvy Services for the Blind. We have offices in Tucson and Phoenix and satellite office in Yuma. We're applying through the Maricopa Association of Governments for 2 minivans with lifts and also some preventive maintenance funding. I think about 7,500 or something to that effect. We're an agency that serves blind individuals from very young children for a summer program that we run for a couple of weeks through the National Federation of the Blind. It's called a BELT program. But we also serve people all the way up, sometimes as old as 100 years old, folks that have had age-related vision loss, sometimes for many decades previously. But we serve people through the whole gamut of life. We provide vocational training through a comprehensive services program through the Department of Economic Security. Comprehensive is when it's that terminology, it is just that. It has all of our services, be it orientation, mobility, assistive technology, health and wellness, independent living skills, computer skills, has it all under one contract and all basically center-based. For that program, we do itinerant services throughout the state, also for folks that are non-vocationally based or vocationally based students who can't be in the urban areas, rural areas, or urban areas and are in the rural areas, or at least outside the cities. We offer those services on site in their homes generally. We serve seniors who are 55 and above. I'm not sure if I really agree with that 55 and above being seniors, but nonetheless, that's what that's the point of non-vocational services beginning for seniors. We have to transport many people to our agency. Obviously, that transportation is a barrier for many people with blindness. Certainly with during the pandemic and with COVID-related concerns, even more so than before. A lot of folks with blindness have secondary health conditions, and riding on public transportation or paratransit is just not feasible, and it's really too dangerous. we've always provided a fair amount of transportation, but even more so nowadays. We have a fleet of, I think, 6 vehicles in the Phoenix area. That's why we're asking for 2 more with ramps. I think the ramps are the lifts. Sorry. My bad, I should know this. Oh, with ramps. Okay, I didn't think there were lifts because lift gates take so much space in the vehicle, but they're with ramps. And then, like I said, preventive maintenance. It's kind of a summary of our agency. We just moved to a new building in Phoenix. We've been leasing for 11 years on East Thomas Road, 4222, and we just moved to a new building that we were able to purchase and do some tenant improvement renovations at 2920 North 7th Street. So we just took occupancy there about a month ago. So that's closer to the light rail. So we'll have people being able to travel independently via the train. A little more centrally located to the extent that it's right on that outer edge of the downtown area. So we're excited about that, and hopefully that will be a cost savings to us to some degree in regard to our lease had grown kind of steep over the 11-year period. I guess that's kind of a summary to where we are. We provide a lot of independent living skills for folks who are either still vocationally based. And that's when I say comprehensive, is that it's the full gamut of services that are necessary for a person to be able to be successful in employment. But it's the same array of services that are necessary for folks, even when they're seniors who are receiving services on site, including even health and wellness. That's a big emphasis upon, a foundational emphasis upon the type of services we offer. And we literally have folks in their 80s and 90s who are still exercising regularly. I saw a woman the other day doing the TRX bands, doing pull-ups going below 45-degree angle. And I saw her do a dozen pull-ups, and she must be in her early 90s. And I was so impressed because, with that confidence and that strength and that environmental awareness, balance, we've had a self-report with the seniors one time that they're falling less often. And, that's huge for so many different reasons for folks to not only for their immediate health and well-being, but also for the confidence to be able to still travel and be independent. Cornerstone of all of our services that people have to get to our agency, and transportation is inherently a priority for us, always has been. And thanks to our relationships with MAG and ADOTS and PAG down here in FEMA, we've been able to really be able to fulfill that goal.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike. Are there any questions from the committee? Mike, can you tell us what would be the effect to your program if you were not awarded?
If we weren't awarded the vehicles or the preventive maintenance, it's difficult because if we rely on providing transportation to our students. A lot of our students aren't necessarily, when they come to us, they're not ready to take public transportation on their own independently. Paratransit, oddly enough, is not always categorically available. The eligibility is not always, blindness is not necessarily always a condition that immediately will allow folks to take paratransit. So, if we weren't able to receive funding, it would just be an additional challenge as to how we would be able to provide transportation services. I don't want to be vague, but we would, have to go to the drawing board and figure, ways to somehow make ends meet, make our vehicle somehow extend them. It's hard though. We put a lot of miles on our vehicles, particularly in the valley. I mean, our vehicles are on the road a lot, and as you all know, up in Maricopa, you know, you can be on the road for hours. We start early in the morning and we run late in the afternoon or into the evening. It'd be hard for us for sure, because our folks are not able to take public transportation. They certainly need their skills, the development of the skills for to be independent and mobile, the orientation, mobility, that's something that comes over time. And now, you know, again, with some of the health concerns, it would be difficult for us for sure.
Okay.
But we wouldn't lessen our commitment to what we have to do, because that's, like I said, it's foundational.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike. Are there any other questions from the committee?
I do.
All right, Robert, go ahead.
Robert Yabes, City Tempe. On your clientele, how many are, you know, you start at 55, how many are 55 and under 65? Under 65, I should just say. How many of your clientele are under 65 and do they have disabilities?
Well, we don't start at 55. The group that we start at 55 is called Independent Living Program for Blind Individuals. That is a non-vocationally based program. It does still come out of Rehab Services Administration, but it is for folks that are not vocationally based. The majority of our students in the comprehensive program, being that is a vocational rehab program, are under 55. I'd say percentage-wise, probably about 70% are under 55, and probably about maybe 40%, maybe 60-40 are over 55 years old. Now maybe 70-30. So like I said, we serve people of all ages, and our folks are disabled because we're as a blind agency.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Mike, I'd like to thank you for your presentation today, and we really do appreciate all the hard work you're doing there at Savvy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye, Dee.
Thank you. Next, we have Spina Bifida Association of Arizona. This is a new agency. They are requesting vehicles.
Hello, Sherry. Can you hear us? Hello, Sherry.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Hang on just
There
a
we go.
second.
Thank you.
Hi,
Wow.
Sherry.
Hi.
Well, welcome and thank you for your time here today. My name is Matt Dudley, and I am the vice chair of the MAG EPDT Ad Hoc Committee. And I'll just like to go over a few things before we begin. And to keep track of time, staff from MAG will indicate the time remaining at both the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, and that we are recording this interview. And for your presentation, what we would like you to do is just kind of provide an introduction, include your name and title, and on a very brief overview of your agency. We're only looking at for something for like a minute, but most importantly, we want you to describe your project request and the needs that you have. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. And with
Okay.
that, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm a little bit frazzled right now. When I got to my office, there was a screw in my tire and I was hearing a loud hissing. So I did not have the ability to just kind of wait it out. So I'm just getting back from Discount Tire. As far as an introduction, my name is Sherry Reynolds. I am the executive director. Our agency has been here in the Valley since about 1978, serving people born with spina bifida. And because the birth defect is so diverse, the vast majority of our people don't qualify as a developmental disability. And so the programs that DD offers are not available to them. And usually those provide transportation, and it's just kind of a smooth transition for them from childhood into transitioning to adulthood and developing career skills and social skills. So where we are right now, we are in the process of trying to get legislation passed to include that as a developmental disability. But at this point, we have a lot of people that have no access to services, and they do struggle with executive function, which is not exactly scaled as an intellectual disability. So our purpose for looking at a vehicle and how that would, I guess, enhance our services to our population is that it would make it accessible to them. So we have to look for things that the state offers that don't require a DD referral, or else design those things ourselves with some of our partners. We do have a lot of partners that we work with, but when the intellectual part clicks in with executive function, we've just seen programs that are so much more successful when somebody shows up at your drive. You know, that you've got that case management piece going in, and somebody shows up to pick you up to take you to the program. And so we are very, very much interested in working that into our programming, because when we have partnered with other agencies, like it wasn't Civitan. Yes, it was Civitan. And then with the Golden Sun community, we were able to, they graciously helped us with transportation, and we saw a huge increase in the amount of attendance that we had and regular participation, not just folks that were, oh, I could work it out Tuesday, but I can't get my organizational skills together to get transportation 2 days a week. We were able to facilitate that for them. We're looking at working this into a program with having a vehicle to be able to take them down to do the qualifications that they need so that they can get bus passes, so that they can have access to dial-a-ride type services, in the loosest sense of the word, because that's one of those steps that kind of falls short, where they don't follow through with, you know, there is transportation available for you. Some of those people would feel comfortable riding independently. So we would be able to help get them into an appointment and get them qualified for services that do exist. And then lastly, what I really didn't include, because I felt like it was just a bit much to throw in, because I tend to web when I think, but we do have folks with spina bifida, because it's so diverse. They can drive a vehicle. There aren't a lot of them, but we have a good number of them. And the ones that we've approached and spoken with, it sounded like they were very interested in looking at something like this to be part of a job training thing too, where they could actually be the drivers of the vehicles. They could actually learn the skills that it takes to work on the paperwork with a designated person who is going to be attending the meetings. And so to provide them with some job skills on the side, it just seemed like it was a huge piece that was all coming together. So whether this is the year for it or not, you'll probably see me again next year. But I just appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this process this year, at least, and share some of the stuff and get some feedback to see how we might work with you guys in the future if this year doesn't work out.
All right, Sherry, thank you very much. So I will open up the floor to questions from the committee. Actually, I have two, Sherry. One, being a new applicant, I'm curious how you heard about this this application process.
Oh, so actually, I forgot to mention them. Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Association. They helped us with transportation as well. And I can picture his face, but his name is slipping my mind. I think it's with a Z, but one of their staff members said, you guys should apply for a MAG vehicle. And he had sent me the information about the meetings and stuff like that that go on regularly. So that's how we heard about it. And then I knew that Golden Sun had said, oh, they got the MAG vehicles, and their prior executive director is one of our board members, Diane, if you know Diane Yoder. But we know when I was talking with her about the application, she said what a huge difference it made for Golden Sun. So somewhere down the road, we would definitely like to get it going.
Excellent. I'm glad you heard about it and heard about the program. Could you tell us a little bit, what would be the effect to your program if you were not awarded the vehicle?
I think a lot of our time and effort goes into helping with transportation. So we would be filling in those gaps one way or another. And I think by having our own vehicle, it would save us all of the oh, can we partner with this person? Can we partner with that person? And kind of trying to shuffle how we can get things around versus having a vehicle of our own that we could send out to help with transportation. Because one way or another, we'll be doing it for the programming.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Sherry, I would like to thank you once again for tracking down the 5310 program and coming to us and telling us about the request that you have.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you, chairs and members of the committee. My computer is going to do a force restart, so I will be sharing Ezekiel's computer once it goes to a force restart. But I just want to let you know I'm not leaving, but I'm going to change computers. But I haven't told Ezekiel's yet. Okay, our next agency is Scottsdale Training and Rehabilitation Services. They're requesting mobility management, PM, and vehicles. Ezekiel's. I believe we have to.
Justin is joining right now. Justin, can you hear us? All right, Justin, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, Justin, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
All right. Well, welcome and thank you, sir, for coming and giving us time today. I'm Matt Dudley. I'm the vice chair of the MAG committee. I'd also like to go over a few things before we begin, and to keep track of time, staff will indicate the time remaining at both the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, and that this interview is being recorded. And for your presentation, could you just please provide an introduction, including your name and title, a very brief overview of your agency. You're only looking for something like 1 minute, but more importantly, could you please describe your project request and the need for the remaining balance, about 8 minutes. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. And with that, Justin, I will hand it over to you.
All right, thank you. My name is Justin McGregor. I am the Facility and Mobility Innovations Manager at STARS. I'm also a MAG Sub-Regional Mobility Manager for the West Valley. At STARS, we provide programs for individuals with developmental disabilities, including adults and children. We have DTA programs as well as work programs for those individuals, and we provide transportation for both programs. For the sub-regional mobility manager position, this is a position where I provide driver safety as well as preventive maintenance training to other agencies. I've been with MAG on this for 3 years now, looking forward to a 4th. I also provide assistance for those who are looking to start up the program, or individuals that just need help with reports or reporting, such as the annual milestone progress report. For the preventive maintenance, this allows funds to be allocated towards keeping our MAG vehicles 100% operational and in optimum condition, as well as extending the overall life of each vehicle. Let's see. For our vehicle request, we're requesting 2 vehicles. We had a huge influx of individuals in wheelchairs recently. So having these 2 new vehicles will ensure that we are able to provide enough space and transportation for those who are in need of transportation that are in wheelchairs. Any questions?
All right. Thank you, Justin. Any questions from the committee? Hey, Justin.
Yes, sir.
I saw under your vehicles that, could you tell us a little bit about this Samsara system that you got for your vehicles and how it's helped your organization?
Absolutely. So this is a really unique system. It provides a way to track maintenance for all the vehicles. oil changes, tire rotations, fluid exchange, the battery service life, the actual service life of the engine and internal parts of the vehicle. It also has other unique features such as AI technology that helps alert me if a driver is driving unsafe or if a driver is driving distracted. It actually catches the driver's face. And if the driver is looking too far to its left or right instead of forward, it'll alert me that the driver is driving distracted. It also gives a monthly score on the driver's behavior and habits. As well as that, with the camera, it has a dual camera, one camera facing the road, one camera facing the passengers. So it allows, say if there's an accident, we have exact proof on what happened during the transportation.
Excellent, thank you. Let's see, what else do I, so mobility manager.
Yes, sir.
Talk about how mobility management has maybe changed from your perspective of what you provide there at Scottsdale Train coming out of COVID. What have you seen, maybe what you saw before COVID and what you've seen after COVID in relationship to mobility management?
With relationship to mobility management, I've noticed a lot more agencies are really focused on the safety aspect of the vehicles, which is a good thing because keeping the drivers, trained properly for safety will entail, extend the life of the vehicles, so the vehicles aren't being worn down as much. As well as that, there's been a lot more people who've been reaching out for help prior to COVID. So I feel at least 3 or 4 phone calls a week from agencies that just are looking for, hey, can you help me with this? Can you give me an idea on this?
Okay. And lastly, what would be the effect to your program if you were not awarded?
I'm not sure. You talk for mobility management or for everything?
For everything.
Okay.
Mobility management, preventive maintenance, or the vehicles.
For mobility management, I think it would be a loss for the community out there that seeks my help. For the preventive maintenance, we would just have to reallocate funds and move things around. We wouldn't be able to afford stuff like the Samsara that helps innovation and keep us moving forward towards keeping our vehicles and drivers the safest possible. And for the 2 vehicles, it would give us a little bit of a crunch trying to get individuals transported in wheelchairs. We'd have to, put people on a waiting list instead of accepting them into the program right away that are in wheelchairs.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions from the committee? All right. Hearing none. Justin, thank you very much, sir, for coming and telling us about your application today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye.
Thank you. Next, we have Hacienda, who are requesting preventive maintenance and vehicles. We have Sierra Kamala.
They're still connecting with the audio. Hello, Dave. Hello, Sierra. Can you hear us? Hello, Dave. Sierra?
That's better. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you, Dave.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. Looks like Sierra is still connecting.
Let's see.
Oh, there we go. Sierra, are you there? All right. Dave, I think we'll start, and then once Sierra connects, we'll be able to kind of bring her in there. But I'd like to welcome you and thank you for your time today. I am Matt Dudley. I'm the vice chair of this committee, and I'd just like to kind of go over a few things before we begin. One is to keep track of time. Staff will indicate the time remaining both at the 5 and the 1 minute mark. And this interview is being recorded. And then for your presentation, just please provide a brief introduction, including the names and titles of those presenting. Give us a very brief overview of Hacienda. We're only looking for something for about a minute. But most importantly, the 8 minutes that are going to be remaining, please describe your project request and the needs. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. And with that, I will like to turn it over to you, Dave.
So, excuse me, Sierra had prepared to speak first. I basically have the points of what she was going to say. So I'll start with what I believe she was going to say, and then I'll jump into what I was going to say. So first of all, thank you guys for inviting us to present. My name is David Mills. I'm the Director of Operations for Hacienda. Sierra Camilla is the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations for Hacienda. So our agency has been serving medically fragile seniors, adults, and children with physical, developmental, and intellectual disabilities for more than 50 years. We provide specialized medical care and social services through 5 main programs, which includes residential services, medical group homes, day training and treatment. We have a fleet of vehicles that transport our clients, residents to their medical appointments, their daily training, their excursions, and their home visits. Many of our clients require medical staff such as respiratory therapists when being transported to their destinations. So traditional forms of public and paratransit transportation is not suitable for their special needs. Their safety and well-being is our primary goal. We have 2 capital requests, which include 2 minivans with lifts and preventive maintenance to help keep our vehicles in top shape. Most of our 5310 vehicles are large. They're the bigger cutaway vans, and they carry up to 4 people seated in wheelchairs. They're perfect for group excursions. However, when one client has a medical appointment, which happens quite a bit, transporting them in a large bus-like van is not very efficient. It's expensive, especially with the gas prices today. And a lot of times it's too big to park in the handicap accessible spaces at the doctor's offices. Let's see. So having a smaller minivan that's more fuel efficient, easier to park, and can offload wheelchair clients through the back of the van, or even the side lift ones, the back ones we prefer, but the side ones are it's easier than the big cutaways in these small parking lots. This will save us time and money without compromising the safety. We serve 30 clients from our main campus, and we have 7 group homes that serve 5 to 6 individuals each. And we have independent living arrangements for individuals who cannot drive but live with developmental disabilities such as autism spectrum disorder. Our need is to replace 2 of our older Dodge vans that have high mileage and replace them with smaller, more fuel efficient minivans. So that sort of explains the 2 new vans that we're looking at. Over the past couple of years, we've been fortunate to benefit from your program. We currently have 19 vehicles in our fleet. 16 of them were purchased with the help of the 5310 program. And having 80% of our preventive maintenance expenses covered helps us keep these vans in top physical and mechanical shape, which not only extends the useful life of the vehicles, but also helps prevent roadside breakdowns, ensures the climate control is functioning properly, and reduces the amount of major repair work needed to keep our vehicles running efficiently. Ultimately, providing a safe, reliable, and comfortable means of transportation for the clients we serve. We're requesting $50,000 for preventive maintenance. Along with our 20% match, we will be able to maintain the vehicles to the highest standards and have the ability to immediately address and repair any issues that may arise. So that's pretty much what I had written. I know Sierra probably would have done a little bit better on the part she had prepared. Unfortunately, it looks like she's having some issues connecting. But I just want to thank you guys again for offering this program and for allowing us the opportunity to present.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dave. You did a great job, Dave. Any questions from the committee?
Oh, good morning, everyone.
Ah, there's Sierra.
Sierra, there we
I don't know
go.
what happened. So I don't know. I couldn't hear anybody. So I don't know what Dave went over. And so do we have a few more minutes?
We do.
Okay. I might be repeating what Dave just said, but I just wanted to thank you all for giving us this opportunity to present both of our projects, both the vans and also preventive maintenance. And again, my name is Sierra Camilla. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations. And of course, you've met Dave Mills, who's our Director of Operations, and he does a wonderful job taking care of all of our vehicles and our transportation services. So just to recap, Hacienda Healthcare does take care of medically fragile seniors, adults, children with physical, developmental, and intellectual disabilities. And we've been doing it for more than 50 years. We provide specialized medical care and social services through 5 main programs, which include our residential services, our medical group homes, day training, and treatment. So we have a fleet of vehicles that transport our clients to their medical appointments, their daily training, excursions, and home visits. Many of our clients require medical staff, such as respiratory therapists, when they're being transported to their destinations. So public and paratransit transportation really is not suitable for their special needs. And so safety is our primary goal. So with the capital requests, we're looking for 2 minivans to replace these huge buses that we have, which we need to transport a multiple number of wheelchair clients. But when an individual has a medical appointment, they only, they don't need this huge bus. So having the minivans helps us because they're smaller, they're more fuel efficient. We can get them into a tight parking spot, at their doctor's offices, and we can unload and offload them, through the back of the minivans. So basically, we're looking to replace 2 older, high mileage Dodge vans with these minivans because they're definitely fuel efficient with the price of gas these days. They're easier to maneuver, they're safe, and those would really, help with our, just being more efficient, and cost is a major factor in this case. And I'm sure that Dave has already gone over the preventive maintenance. So Dave, did I miss anything?
You did not. Can you hear me, Sierra?
Yes, yes.
I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to get on, so I kind of went over the same points you went over just now as well, just in case. But I did go over.
Okay, wonderful.
Yep. All right.
All
Sierra
right,
and
so
Dave.
we're ready for the questions then.
All right. Do I have any questions from the committee? Dave, I have a question. Could you tell us a little bit the difficulty in transporting medically fragile customers versus like a regular customer, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So a few of the challenges we have, number one is the amount of staff. Can you guys hear me still? Uh-oh.
Yes, we hear
Okay.
you.
I saw the 5-minute pop up. I thought maybe I was having network problems. So one of the main things is staffing. So when, I guess, transporting a just your average person that needs transportation, you can just have a driver and the passenger. When it comes to medically fragile clients like ours, most of the time they need they're in wheelchairs, so they need a wheelchair lift, and they need someone to help assist getting them on the vehicle with the wheelchair lift. And then typically they have a driver and a respiratory therapist as well. A lot of our clients are reliant on vents. So that's one of the challenges is staffing it. And again, the other challenge, and then a big one, is loading and unloading wheelchairs. So there's ADA requirements that require every facility has X amount of spaces for wheelchair access or for handicap access, but they're not always tailored to fit the bigger buses. So, and even when we have a minivan, you still have to have space to drop the ramp and comfortably pull the client off without running into another vehicle. I think those are two of the major challenges there are, and as well as securing the wheelchairs in the vehicle to make sure the clients don't suffer any injuries or any discomfort while being transported.
Okay, thanks, Dave. And Sarah, could you tell us what would be the effect to the Hacienda program if you were not awarded these funds?
Well, the effect would be, are you talking about both of the projects, or are you talking about
both of the
vans
projects
in particular? I'm sorry?
Both of the projects.
Okay, well, basically, we still have to maintain our fleet and we still have to transport our clients. So we would continue doing business as we always have. It's just that, we'll be carrying, the bulk of the costs for doing so. And of course, if we have older vans that are not as efficient, then it will be, we need more funds, from our budget. So that's how it's going to affect us. And as far as safety is concerned, we're always looking to, make sure that all of our vehicles are in top shape. And we'll, I think that because we've received funds in the past, we'll still continue doing the same things that we have. It's just that, financially, it would be more of a burden for us.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the committee?
Wendy?
Hi, this is Wendy Miller. I'll turn on my video briefly. I have bad lighting behind me. I'm sorry. Sierra, Dave, I'm not sure who this question is for, probably both of you. In the committee questions, it wasn't my original question, but it brought something to light regarding your inventory list. So in the inventory list, it asked about that you're replacing a vehicle, but it is not a current 5310 vehicle that you're replacing. So the inventory list in the application is intended to list all of your inventory, not just 5310 vehicles. And it looks like potentially this is just your inventory of Phoenix vehicles. So that list should be all of Hacienda's inventory, not just Phoenix vehicles, and then indicating the ones that are on lane with Phoenix, etc. So I'm thinking that potentially we might need a full list of your vehicle inventory.
Okay, that makes sense. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I probably was aware at one time, but I know that we do have, some older ADOT vehicles. So we'll definitely, I'm sure Dave can provide that listing of all of our vehicles for you.
Yeah, I have a complete vehicle inventory list for the company. Yeah, we can provide that.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
All right. Any other quick questions from the committee? All right.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not sure if I lost connection there or if it was on someone else's end, but.
Nope, you're good, Dave.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your patience with me and my technical issues.
All right, Sierra and Dave. Hey, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye now.
Have a great day. Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, that is our last agency before a break. We do have a 9-minute break from to 10:45. And
all right.
The agency coming back from break will be plus.
All right. Thank you, everybody. So we have that 9-minute break. If everyone can kind of get back on maybe about 10:44 or so. All right. See you in a bit.
Test. Test. Can you hear me? Testing. Okay, I can hear myself. If you hear me, that's good.
Can you hear me, Didi?
Yes, thank you.
We do have Independence Plus.
I am
and
here.
Gregory.
All right, Gregory or Greg?
Either one is fine.
All right, well, thank you, sir, for coming out today. My name is Matt Dudley. I'm the vice chair of the MAG Ad Hoc Committee. I'd like to go over a few things before we begin, just to keep track of time. MAG staff will indicate the time remaining both at the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark. You'll see that pop up on your screen. This interview is also being recorded. And for your presentation, just please provide us an introduction, include your name and title, and give us a very brief, like 1-minute overview of your agency. But most importantly, the rest of the time, I would like you to describe your project request and the need. And then after you are finished, the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. And with that, sir, please begin.
And my name is Dr. Greg Trianathillo. I am the Associate Director for Independence Plus, located here near 35th Avenue in Thomas in Phoenix. We are a day program for intellectual and developmentally disabled adults. And transportation is very important to us as we provide rides to and from members' homes, as well as provide rides to outings. We're excited to say that we had our first outing since the pandemic last week or 2 weeks ago when they attended the Maricopa County Fair. This year, we don't need to replace any vehicles or obtain new ones. So therefore, we've applied for preventive maintenance to take care of the Section 5310 vehicles that we already have. And we've been doing the preventive maintenance grant. This is our 3rd year requesting it. This year, we're requesting $9,000, of which 20% would be our cost to cover preventive maintenance and repairs. And we've been pretty lucky on guessing the correct amount of money we've needed. The previous grant, we had a little bit extra. They allowed us to continue it to this year. So I think 9,000 again will pretty much be on the mark for what we'll need. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but like a lot of agencies, we're practically month to month right on budget for their finances. This really helps a lot getting reimbursed for these repairs. And that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Any questions from the committee?
I do not.
All right. Doctor, could you tell us what would be the effect to your program if you were not awarded these PM funds?
Well, like I said, our budget's very tight month to month. So it makes it, it makes it much easier for us to go into debt or further debt without this funding. Okay. All right. For example, the most recent one we got reimbursed for was a little over $4,000, and that really helped with our cash flow, because we apply quarterly for the funding.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Doctor, thank you very much for coming to the committee today and going over your application for Independence Plus for your PM request.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, Hezekiah, who do we have next? We have TCH.
Yes, the next agency is TCH with mobility management, PM, and a vehicle request. Kids, are they ready?
We have one of them in the waiting room. I'm gonna let
Okay.
Don Hawking in and Eric, and we will see if Eric's available already.
And we are just a little bit early, about 10 minutes early.
Yes.
Are we
Hello.
expecting,
Yes, Didi?
are we expecting another agency member?
Eric said that he would join as well. I don't know if they are joining in the same meeting room. Hi,
Yeah,
Don.
Eric will be joining in the room. He just stepped out he'll be right back, he said. Because we're a couple minutes early, so I was like, I wanted to make sure I didn't have any technological issues as I was trying to get on.
Hi, Don. We're also running a little early, so we appreciate your flexibility.
No problem. That doesn't give us time to sit and worry, right?
All right, Vice Chair.
All right, Don, thank you very much. So welcome and thank you guys for your time today. I am Matt Dudley. I am the Vice Chair for the MAG Ad Hoc Committee. And I'd just like to go over a few things before we begin. Just to keep track of time, staff will indicate the time remaining at both the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, which will pop up on the screen. Let you know that this interview is being recorded. And in regard to your presentation, just provide us an introduction, include your names and titles of those presenting, and give us a very brief overview of TCH. We're only looking about for 1 minute or so, but most importantly, please describe your project request and the needs. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. And with that, Don, I will turn it over to you for your presentation.
Introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Eric Pennick. I'm the Fleet and Facilities Manager here at TCH. Let's see.
Yeah, you go. I'm Don Hawking. I'm the Director of Development here at TCH. And Eric is new to his position. He's only been in for like 6 months now. So he's getting adjusted and learning all about this process. So a little bit about TCH is we provide supports for adults with disabilities. We do that through a day program, group homes, employment services, and of course that all includes transportation. Our project requests, we have 3 this year, which is the first time we've done 3. So we are asking for vehicles to replace some old and aging vehicles. And we're also seeing, as our population is aging, a lot of the individuals in our group homes have lived with us for over 30 years. They're getting up into their 60s and 70s. And some of the homes do not have an individual with a wheelchair. So we're finding that some of the cutaways that we've been utilizing in those homes are more challenging, the stability of the individuals coming up and down the stairs. So they're having some issues that way. So we're looking at how we can really utilize our vehicles in the best way that also meets the needs of our supported individuals. We are also applying again to be the mobility manager. Obviously, this is our first year through it. So we are learning along the way. And Eric is doing a great job picking up on what that mobility management means, getting things ready for presentations, being there to help all of the other organizations that may need it. And then preventative maintenance. Obviously, the cost of maintaining a safe fleet is expensive, and the funding that we get from the state of Arizona does not cover that kind of expense. So we look to have help offsetting those expenses so that we can put funds in direct programs and other needs that we have. So those are kind of the 3. I don't know what kind of questions you have for us, or if you want more information about our requests.
Okay, let's start with the questions from the committee. Does anyone have any particular questions for TCH? Donna, I have a quick question here. So mobility management coming out of COVID, how does TCS or TCH see that kind of changing from our pre-COVID days, even though I know you just really kind of took over on the mobility management side from last year to this year? Does TCH see a lot of change when it comes to mobility management going from COVID to our post-COVID normal?
Yeah, I know with the end of COVID, they just started pass training up again. I've been helping Hezekiah's providing a vehicle and being there to help out with that. I also got in contact with someone from that Arizona Disabled Sports. We're looking to offer a shuttle service for that event next month. So there's a lot of new opportunities for us to network and help out.
Okay.
Well, and, I also think, during COVID, we didn't go anywhere really in terms of our supported individuals. Even some of the individuals that were employed, those job sites shut down. We lost a couple of them. So ramping back up, we're starting to definitely go more places. We're very aware of, how many people do we have on a van? So you're thinking about some of the socially distanced when you're transporting people. So some of those have changed a little bit in terms of the way we might transport, but really, transportation for our supported individuals hasn't changed in the sense that they can't use the public transportation. So we're there to transport them. They continue to have their doctor's appointments and those kinds of things, but we continue to evaluate, I guess, what the needs of our supported individuals are and how we can better use our resources.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the committee? All right, Don, I actually have another question in regard to preventive maintenance from again, this is almost more of a COVID question with the cost of living these days. Have you seen the PM rates go up with the cost for the PM of your fleet?
Yeah, not necessarily as much in labor, more so parts. And then we've also seen challenges with, not only our own staffing, but staffing at the auto shops as well. Like just today, we had to cancel a van going into the shop because they didn't have enough people to take care of it. And then we're seeing parts back ordered across the board. Some of our shops, like we've been getting some like custom catalytic converter cages made, just because there's no availability of like pre-made ones.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And Don, could you tell us what would be the effect to your program if you were not awarded either mobility management, PM, or vehicles?
Well, I guess the effect, like if we didn't get vehicles, we would continue to utilize what we have. And just really, we are looking at selling some of them. So it may be adjusting the number of community activities we go do, which would be from like our day program and group homes. We prioritize things like medical appointments, employment services. So people that we're taking to jobs like at ASU, those are definitely a priority to make sure that they all have transportation that's needed. Preventative maintenance dollars, we still have to get the services done. It just takes funding away from other areas that we might be able to utilize funding. So having funding from this grant really helps to offset that. So if there's an equipment need or something along those lines, we're able to take care of that without an issue. And mobility management, I don't know what the change would be or what the difference, since this is so new for us. We're still really learning. I love the opportunities that it does bring for us in terms of just being able to learn more, not only about our industry, but other industries that have needs when it comes to transportation.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the committee? All right. Hearing none. Don and Eric. Eric, welcome aboard to TCH. So thank you guys very much. And see no other questions. I think we are done with our interview portion.
Well, excellent. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity and the consideration for our requests. Thank you.
All right. You guys have a great day. Goodbye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Oh, I know we're a little ahead of time, Hezekiah. Maybe to catch, I know Chandler Gilbert Arcs at 11:15. Do we want to take a 10-minute break to get to about 11:10? That way we can kind of catch up on the schedule.
Yes, I have messaged them saying that we are a little bit of ahead schedule, but haven't received the response, and they are
Okay.
not in our waiting room right now. So
All right.
we
Let's
can
just wait and take a 10-minute break. Everybody come back about 11:10, and that way that's about 5 minutes before the interview with Chandler Gilbert Arc.
Thank you. We'll see you.
All right. See you in about 10.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Dudley, we do have the next
All right.
applicant.
All right. Billy Michael, welcome. Again, my name is Matt Dudley. I'm the vice chair of the MAG ad hoc committee. Just like to go over a few things before we begin. To keep track of time, MAG staff will indicate the time remaining both at the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, and you'll see if we get to those will pop up on the screen. This interview is also being recorded, and for your presentation, I just provide us with an introduction, include your names and titles of those that are presenting, and give us a very brief overview of your agency. I'm looking only for like a minute, but most importantly, please describe your project request and the needs for the remaining balance of time. And then the time after that will be open for questions from the committee. And with that, gentlemen, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, good morning. I am Michael Miller, Director of Operations at Chandler Gilbert Arc. And to my right is Billy Parker. He's our Executive Director. He's an 8-time sub-regional mobility manager as well. So I'll be discussing our preventative maintenance proposal, and Billy will discuss our mobility management proposal. But first, brief introduction to Chandler Gilbert Arc. We were established in 1975 in Chandler. We provide services for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the East Valley for the past 47 years. Services we provide include transportation. We have a residential program with 9 group homes in the East Valley. We have an employment services program and a day treatment and training program. We serve several hundred members throughout a calendar year, and our service model is guided by our mission statement, which is to facilitate growth for people with disabilities through choice, experience, guidance, and respect. So with regards to our preventative maintenance proposal, we've requested $71,987 for preventative maintenance for 2022-23. That does include our local match. For our agency, transportation is crucial. We provide specialized transportation from individuals' homes to our day and employment service sites. We also provide transportation to educational, medical, social, employment, volunteer, and recreational opportunities. We believe community engagement is paramount to meeting our mission, and transportation we provide is specialized to the uniqueness of each passenger we serve. Assuring a fleet of reliable and safe vehicles and efficiently running fleet management program continues to be a vital aspect of the services we provide. When we came up with our proposal, we used pre-pandemic numbers from 2019 and 2020 to try to calculate our maintenance and repair needs. And I have some of those technical figures if you would need them. As far as maintaining our vehicles, we have a strong relationship with the brake shop in Mesa, and they provide regular scheduled maintenance, and they do their best to minimize our vehicle downtime. This partnership has provided us excellent results, which include we have 10 FTA vehicles still on the road with over 100,000 miles. New this year, we have a partnership with Discount Tire. They're providing on-site services to all vehicles, including tire rotation, alignment, repair, and replacement. The nice thing about this service is it's occurring during non-business hours, again, with the goal of reducing the impact on our clients via the maintenance and vehicle downtime. We have several relationships throughout the valley as we try to focus on vehicle sharing and those types of things. I know that's a big part of the MAG process. We have relationships with Chandler and Gilbert Chambers of Commerce, the Gila River Indian Community, ARC of Arizona, the Centers for Rehabilitation, and Valley Center for the Deaf, just to name a few. We participate in community outreach and MAGTAP meetings at least monthly to work towards development of best practices in coordination. And then lastly, I just want to say we also have the goal of increasing independence and maximizing community integration for our members. So we do partner with Valley Metro, including Dial-A-Ride in the bus and light rail. So we can try to provide our members with travel training when it's appropriate. So that's what I had for preventative maintenance. I'll pass it over to Billy to discuss the mobility management proposal.
Thanks, Michael. I thought the term eight-time mobility manager was kind of comical. So, but it's been a pleasure being a sub-regional mobility manager. And I feel like having been a person who came in to mobility management kind of when it first started or very early on, I've seen a lot of positive changes with that. And really one of the biggest changes is really agencies know more about each other because of that process. And when we know more about each other, I think we can share both challenges and various ideas and strategies that we all use in order to really maximize the resources and make sure that the people that we're supporting are getting the transportation that they need. So, in that light, when COVID came, I really shifted the vehicle sharing training that I had been doing for a number of years and moved it to the It's a Moving Target sort of guided discussions. And it's been interesting because I found that there's been so much change and there's been so many sort of front burner issues with COVID and with everything involved in that every time I've done that training, it's been different. And I keep changing my PowerPoint in order to sort of guide the discussion in a different way. So as one of my things as a mobility manager moving forward, I think we're going to bring back vehicle sharing. And I actually have a vehicle sharing training coming up on May 24th. But we're going to also continue the It's a Moving Target and kind of look at whatever the current issue is. So for example, one of our current issues, and I know an issue that a lot of programs that serve people with intellectual and developmental disabilities is American Rescue Plan funding, the ARPA funding, which we just were informed of in the last couple of weeks, and it's going to account for a pretty sizable amount of money for a lot of agencies. And so there's a lot of gray area in terms of how that money can be used and how it will be used. And it's designed more specifically to support direct service personnel, and it's federal dollars. So at any rate, that's just an example of probably what I'll put on the agenda for the next It's a Moving Target training. Also, the vehicle sharing training, there's all kinds of change that's making too as time goes on. And so I know the next one I have coming up, like I said, on May 24th, we're really going to be looking at shared ownership of vehicles, the brokerage model, donation of vehicles, how to sell rolling stock and different things like that. So it's not just going to be about how to share, but it's going to be about different strategies. And we've done vehicle sharing for a long time, and it has interested a lot of people, but as probably most people know, it hasn't really been something that a lot of agencies, with the exception of our own, has actually completely followed through on. So a goal of mine is to really look at that and try to sort of break that apart and see and get some information from providers about maybe what their challenges are, continue to engage insurance companies and different things like that. So the other issue that we're dealing with, and many other providers are strategies for staffing, personnel strategies, hiring people, retaining staff, hiring drivers. Our organization is close to being fully opened, but we are not at that point yet, and it's not because of COVID, it's because of personnel. So that's another thing I'll be focusing on. So we'll continue to talk about the brokerage model, the It's a Moving Target, vehicle sharing, continue to do 5310 assistance training, and also be looking at strategies for hiring and retention. So I'll stop now to allow a little time because I got my 5-minute warning.
All right. All right. Any questions from the committee? All right, Michael, quick question. You mentioned earlier about PM and the rates that maybe you've changed, the rates that you put together with pre-COVID and post-COVID. Could you tell us maybe the challenges that you guys have had with maybe the rates that have been increasing in terms of preventive maintenance?
You know, actually, when we did all of our numbers, we actually based them on the dollar figures that we had from 2019, 2020. So we didn't actually
usage.
Yeah, so we didn't do, the only actual adjustment we made was because our fleet's gotten a little bit smaller from 2019, 2020 to now. So that was what factored
Got it.
on the change in overall ask.
Okay. And Billy, from the mobility management, kind of like down the questions almost the same, but how has mobility changed from your guys' perspective, pre-COVID to this post-COVID new normal?
You know, it's one of the biggest issues, I think, Matthew, really has to do a lot with, well, it's a couple things. Actually, our employment program shifted from more of a hybrid center-based and community-based employment to all community-based employment. So what that really means, that has implications with transportation, has implications with mobility management, vehicle sharing. We're transporting less people. And, you know, so that's going to be a big change. And that happened as part of our strategy, but it did happen during COVID at the same time. So now we're looking at how to find enough personnel to be able to move forward with our employment objectives. So, so from a mobility management standpoint, you know, there's a lot of more people needing transportation in smaller groups than it has been previously. So we'll be looking at that really closely. Hope that answers your question.
Yep, nope, it does. All right, any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Michael, Billy, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a great day.
So,
All right, who we got? We got Civitan next, Dawn.
And Dawn was in the waiting room.
Oh, she was in the waiting room? Okay.
Yeah, I just let them in, just waiting for them to connect. Hello, Dawn, can you hear us? Hello, Dawn, can you hear us? Looks like they might be having the same
Yeah,
issue
it looks
that
like they're
Sierra
having
had
some.
early.
I just want to take a moment while Ezekias is doing his magic work and just say Ezekias has been great at bringing in all these agencies and dealing with all these technical issues. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, good job, Hezekias. I'd be like, IT, where are you?
Thank you.
When I was sitting at his desk, and he was just busy doing, I don't know what he does. And talking to people. So it was just amazing. So yes, amazing work. Nathan also, the chair also.
All right, Dawn, can you hear us now?
I can, sorry.
Perfect.
All right,
Thank you so
Don, there
much.
we go.
I'm sorry. Hello, how are you?
Well, Don, think of it this way. You really didn't technically start till 11:30, so you're perfectly on
I
time,
know,
maybe even
I
a
know.
little
So I'm
early.
like, I'm still trying to get some more work done.
All right, Don, well, welcome and thank you for your time today. I'm
Oh,
Matt
thank
Dudley.
you.
I'm the vice chair of the committee. I'd just like to go over maybe a few things before we begin. And that's to keep track of time. Staff will indicate the time remaining at both the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, which will pop up on the screen. This interview is also being recorded, and for your presentation, just provide an introduction, name, title of those presenting, a very brief overview of the agency, looking at something no more than a minute, but most importantly, please describe your project request and the need that you're asking for today. And then the remainder of the time will be open from questions from the committee. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Don.
Great. Hi, I'm Dawn Trapp, and I'm the CEO for the Civitan Foundation. Civitan Foundation has been around since 1968, and we provide a multitude of services to individuals with disabilities. So we do day programs, camps, employment services, home-based community services, recreation programs. We also operate a full 2 thrift stores here in Phoenix and a commercial kitchen as well as part of our programming that we have. We today have asked for 5 new vans, and that is for our opening of our new location. We will be opening finally after a long time. It's taken a really long time for us to actually get this open just because of COVID and just lack of supplies and lack of workers, but we are working on a new project. It is at 16th Street and Thomas. It is going to be the home to our expanded new day program. So we are hoping that it will open in about the 4th quarter. And with that, we will have a number of services there. We will have a day program. We will also have a full commercial kitchen as well, which we are going to be opening. The goal is to open a restaurant that our members actually help operate and run. We already have our thrift store open at that location, and we have an art center that's open at that location. I do want to say that having our last year's award has been a huge help to us. Having the funding to have a full-time transportation director has really helped so much in the coordination of our vehicles. You know, it's sometimes it's so hard. I've been here. This is my 20-year anniversary. So sometimes it's still hard. I still think of us as just this little agency, and we're just really not that anymore. We have over 300 employees, and our members right now at our day program, we're at about 75. And probably we'll look to have probably 60 to 75 at our new location as well. So having that person to coordinate, we've actually retired a number of vans that were desperately in the need of doing that, and really working through and facilitating that this year has really helped us in knowing what we need for the future.
All right. Thank you, Don. Any questions from the committee? Don, I noticed going through your application that you had about a remaining balance of a little over 51,000 of those CRISA funds. Do you guys think you can burn through those funds by, was it maybe August of this year? Or
yes,
just kind of
yes.
give me an update on that.
Yes, we are. Yes, that yes, it had come to our attention. We're getting the billings in more on a regular basis. There was a little bit of a process that we weren't doing as often as we should have. So yes, I am sure that we're going to be able to do that.
All right. Congratulations on the new location. So with the 5 new vehicles,
Thank
I
you.
noticed it's 5 passengers van with no lift. So if there is a need for somebody to have a lift, how would that work through Civitan?
We actually have in our fleet right now, I think that we have 3 or 4 lifts right now. And so we would just have one sent to that location.
Okay. All right. Congratulations on, is that 20 years for Civitan or 20 years for you?
20 years for Civitan, yeah, that I've
Oh,
been
wow.
here, that I've worked here. So
Congratulations.
yeah, not my first time walking in the door. First time walking in the door was about 36 years ago. I walked in as a volunteer, but yeah, but being the CEO, it's 20 years this year. So.
All right. Do I have any other questions from any other of the committee members? All right. Hearing it. Don, there you go. Thank you very much for
Thank you so
coming.
much.
All right.
Really do appreciate your support and help.
All right. Have a great day, Don.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Members of the committee, we do have West of Beyond, who is requesting a PM and vehicles.
He is on. Did you say it was Steve?
No.
Or who is it?
Yeah, I'm checking it right now. We have a few people. It should be Steve and Jacqueline and George. Jacqueline is in the waiting room, so I'm gonna let her in and see and check if the others are joining in already. Hi, Jacqueline.
Hello there.
Hi, do you know if Steve and George will be joining us?
Yes, they will. I will text them to make sure that they jump on ASAP.
Thank you.
Whoa.
I guess you guys caught up from this morning.
Yes,
We did.
George and Steve is sitting in the same office, so when they jump on, they'll be both there. And committee, I am a contract grant writer, so that's why you'll see me a total of 3 times today.
That's okay, Jim.
But that's why I have the cool background so that you know which organization I'm talking about.
can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. They are logging in now, it says.
Yeah, they are in already.
Hi, Hezekiah.
Oh,
there
okay.
we go. Perfect. Vice Chair Dudley and members of the committee.
Right. Well, thank you for coming a little early for us. We got a little ahead of a schedule, so we do appreciate it. I am Matt Dudley. I am the Vice Chair of the MAG Ad Hoc Committee. I'd just like to go over a few things before we begin. To keep track of time, MAG staff will indicate the time remaining both at the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, which will pop up on the screen. This interview is being recorded. And for your presentation, just provide an introduction, include the names and titles of those presenting, and give us a very brief overview of your agency, nothing more than a minute. And more important, please describe your project request and the needs. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. And with that, I will turn it over to you guys.
Thank you very much. My name is Jackie Ehrenberg. I am a contract grant writer for One Step Beyond. And go ahead, George.
My name is George Salvisky. I am the Transportation Director for One Step Beyond. And with me is Steve Hunko, who is the Infrastructure Director.
So One Step Beyond provides dynamic programming for individuals who are of intellectual disabilities. Primarily, the campuses are located in Surprise, Peoria, Glendale, and Scottsdale. And so though those are where our campuses are, we do have members from all over the valley that attend. And then we also use the vehicles to go out on outings and to go to some of that programming that we were talking about. We have a competitive hockey team, actually, the One Step hockey team, and they have to travel from the campus to the ice rink and that type of thing. They also have vocational opportunities and group supported employment that we use the vehicles for. So that is where our need is with regards to transportation. The vehicles that we're looking for are 5 vehicles without the 11 passengers without the lift. And so that request is $165,000. And for the fleet, we're looking for preventative maintenance for the fleet at a total of $2,900 to help us keep we have about 19, 21, I think, vehicles that are 5310 funded through City of Phoenix and MAG. So those are the ones that we're looking to have some preventive maintenance assistance on.
Okay. All right. Anything else you guys would like to add? All right. Questions from the committee? All right. I got a couple questions. George, let's talk about PM and maybe the PM costs going pre-COVID to post-COVID. Have you seen a marked increase, or has it been pretty steady for One Step Beyond?
It's actually been a marked increase due to the fact of not getting newer vehicles delivered. We're having to keep our older vehicles on longer, and those impacts are being felt. We've already replaced 3 transmissions so far between the start of COVID and recent. So we have definitely had an impact on the PM side.
Okay. And could you tell us what would be the effect of your program if you were not awarded either like these vehicles or the PM?
In all honesty, the program would continue, but it would have an impact on the maintenance costs to detracting, I guess, from our program capability. Also, to add, we have 100+ waiting list for all our Arizona campuses waiting to come on as a factor of drivers and vehicle support. So,
okay. All right. Are there any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. George and Jackie, thank you very much for coming on today and presenting your application.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
All
your
right.
time.
You guys have a great day. Thank you. Bye. All right. Now we started a little late. Now we're a little early, so that's good. So just remember before we recess for lunch, which will take us to 1, just remember we're still in the application review process, so no outside discussions, as much as I'm sure everybody wants to talk about it. But please forward your interview scores to Hezekias from the morning one, and then we will come back from lunch break at 1 p.m. and we'll regroup and start the afternoon round of interviews. We have, let me look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we will get there. So does anybody have any questions before we go on lunch break?
Hey, Matt, this is Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Just want to let you know you're doing a fantastic job. Thanks for asking all the questions. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. 22 decades of this, you kind of get used to it.
I agree. And I would like to thank all the committee members for your patience and flexibility. And Matt, you are doing a really great job.
All right. All right, everybody, make sure you get those scores over to Hezekias, and then I'll see everyone back about 1 o'clock.
Hey, Matt, are you buying lunch?
Robert, no, I heard City of Tempe was going to like Uber Dash it or whatever they call it, whatever the hip thing is these days. So I'm gonna go have I don't even know what I'm having for lunch yet.
Are you at work?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Have fun.
All right, you guys. See you in a bit. All right.
So are we logging out of this one and then logging back in, or what
You can log out of this one and log back in when you're ready. I will leave the meeting room open. I will pause the recording and I will resume the recording at 1 p.m. You can leave and come back, or you can just stay in if you want to.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Hezekias.
Thanks, everybody.
Right.
See you after lunch.
Thank you. See you at 1.
Right.
Hi.
All righty. Hi, Mary and Marcia. Welcome and thanks for your time here today. I am Matt Dudley. I'm the vice chair of the ad hoc committees. I just want to go over a few things before we begin. To keep track of our time, staff will indicate the time remaining. So you'll see on the screen a 5-minute and a 1-minute mark. As you heard, the interview is being recorded. And for your presentation, just please provide an introduction, include your names and titles of all those presenting, and give us a very brief overview of your agency. We're looking for something no more than a minute. And most importantly, describe your project request and your need, and the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Mary and Marcia.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm Mary Brannick, and I am the Senior Program Manager for the Day Service Department at Valley Life. I don't see the camera on here, or else I don't see where it's letting me do that. But let me see. Uh-oh, are you there? Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm here. I couldn't get on the video, so I'm on the phone.
Yeah, and
Yeah, we still hear you.
we still, okay. And then Marcia, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Marcia Richard Bad. I'm a program manager at Valley Life, working under Mary Brannick.
Okay, and we are representing Valley Life. Valley Life has been in business for 75 years. I have worked at Valley Life for 31 years. And I believe, Marcia, what is it, 26 for you? Something like
27.
That. 27. And I do believe we've been working on the grant process, I don't know, maybe, goodness, 25 years or so. But we are a nonprofit agency, And we work with a variety of members providing all different kinds of services. We have our residential group homes. We have 27 of those throughout the valley. We also have vocational services, and they provide employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities. They help people with mental illness finding and keeping jobs. And we also have home and community, excuse me, home and community-based services where we send staff out to people's homes to help care for the members in the homes. And then we have our day programs. So the day services department, we have 11 different DTAs and 5 different sites. And this past year, we've written a grant for 2 transit high-top vehicles for 2 of our homes that are out on the east side, out in Scottsdale. And they do have 2 vans right now, but they're getting older. They're getting up there. That we have, we will get one thing fixed and something else, will break down. There are 2 Fords 2010s. The one has over 114,000 miles and the other one has over 98,000. And they help the members living at that home to get to where they need to be. One of the homes has 4 members, and 3 of those members come into our day program every day at 3 of the different sites. So they're coming from Scottsdale and making 3 different stops to drop off each of those members. The other member is retired and stays at home. But it is a bit of a drive, so we want a nice dependable van for them. And then the other one coming from Scottsdale, again, has 4 members. And 2 of those members are dropped off every day at the 29th Avenue Day Services location. And that's at 29th Avenue in Bell. And then another one is dropped off right about on Central and Hatcher. And then the other one is on Hatcher and about 19th Avenue. So quite a bit of driving around. They enjoy going to the DTAs, and when they're not at the DTAs, they need those vans for medical appointments, going on outings, getting into the community, enjoying other group homes, just for everyday needs. So that is why we are asking for the 2 transit vans.
All right, thank you, Mary, Marcia. Are there any questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Mary, Marcia, could you tell us what would be the effect to your program if you were not awarded these 2 vehicles?
Well, it would certainly put a hardship without having the vehicles. We do have a mechanic on staff. He's very busy. We would keep him busy. We have about 70 vehicles. And so he would always do his best to keep the vehicles running. But if we don't get the vehicles, my concern is they've had a lot of wear and tear. They have had different problems for the last couple of years. And then I'm concerned that they'll break down. Then we have to worry about trying to get another vehicle out or combining van runs, trying to get everybody fit into different vehicles. Most of our members are in wheelchairs. They're not ambulatory. We just couldn't put them in a 12-passenger. So it would be very beneficial for them, for their just a better way of life, to have a good, dependable vehicle.
Okay, all right. All right, Mary and Marcia, any other questions from the committee?
I don't have any. Marcia, do you?
No, I'm good.
No, you guys are good. All right. Well, Mary and Marcia, thank you very much, and letting us know about your application and the needs there with Valley Life.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to us, and we appreciate all you do.
All right, you guys have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You too.
All
You
right.
too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Hezekiah, that actually went pretty quick. We have Benavia at 120. Are they on?
They're not on. I just messaged them to see if they can get a little bit earlier, but as of now,
Okay.
they're not on.
We have Benavia 120, and they have a preventive maintenance request. And I believe it will be Courtney Allen.
All right, we'll just kind of wait a few minutes and see if Benavia gets there. So everyone will just kind of stand put and we'll see if they're on in a few minutes.
Vice Chair Dudley, we do have Courtney Allen with Benavia on the line.
Okay. All righty. Well, welcome and thank you for your time here today. I am Matt Dudley. I'm the Vice Chair of the MAG Ad Hoc Committee. I'd like to go over a few things maybe before we begin. To keep track of time, staff will indicate the time remaining at the 5 and 1 minute mark, and you'll see that as so indicated, it'll pop up on the screen. This interview is also being recorded, and for your presentation, just provide an introduction, include your name and title for those presenting, a very brief overview of your agency, no more than a minute, and most importantly, describe your project request and your need, and then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Courtney.
Perfect. Thank you. Hello, my name is Courtney Allen. I'm the Vice President of Program Operations here at Benavia. Anthony Valencia may be joining if he's able to jump on too. He's our COO, just to kind of see what this process was. And so our agency is Benavia. We've been around since 1981, and we serve quite a few different populations here at Benavia. We serve all ages, but our main focus is to serve older adults and those with disabilities. We also have a child care center that we do intergenerational programming with our grandmas and grandpas, our seniors and our kiddos. But we have 4 adult day life enrichment programs, and they're all unique in their own ways. We have one that's beginning to moderate stages of dementia and Alzheimer's, one that's moderate to later stages of dementia and Alzheimer's, stroke survivors and Parkinson's, adults with intellectual and cognitive disabilities, and then those that just might need respite or socialization. We also provide caregiver support group and a lot of caregiver resources in the community for anybody in our Northwest Valley area. So we're serving all ages up here in the Northwest Valley. And what the ask that we have towards this funding is for our day programs. So we do provide services to the day programs, transportation to and from the programs. So we are actually asking for preventative maintenance funding for the buses that we have, which are all pretty much MAG ADOT vehicles that we're so thankful and lucky that you guys have helped support us over the years. Obviously with COVID, we had a lot of different changes. So during the pandemic, we did close our day programs in 2020 for 6 months. And we just recently started back up our transportation. We were trying to start it back a couple months ago, but we've been having issues finding drivers, which I'm sure you guys have heard across the board, just hiring in general. We do have a route started back up right now for our Helping Partners program, which is our adults with intellectual and cognitive disabilities. And so we are providing them transportation to and from the program. We are ready to start up more routes at our other day programs, but we have not been able to find employees to drive those routes. So we do have a $750 sign-on bonus. We have a staff $750 referral bonus. And so we're trying to be strategic on how we're trying to get more employees in the door. So the funding that we asked for this contract period really is just our preventative maintenance for those vehicles. Our hopes are is that we will get more routes up and running sooner than later, and we will be using those vehicles a lot more. So we asked for $12,000 to support all of our vehicles that we have, which we have 8 5310 funded vehicles. And so Benavia would be doing their commitment of the $3,000 of the local matching funds. So like I said, we do have 2 of the vans we've been running because we also do group supported employment for our DDD population. And so they work at Chick-fil-A in Surprise and Goodwill in Sun City West now. So we do use those vans to transport them to and from their work site with their job coach. And then the transportation that we're doing for the Helping Partners members right now. And we're, like I said, our West Valley program on 81st Avenue and Cactus, we're ready to get that transportation going as soon as possible, as soon as we can hire somebody. So that's what our ask is for this project that we have going on. And so hopefully once we get those buses up and running, we'll need the funding for that preventative maintenance.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Courtney. Any questions from the committee? All right, Courtney.
I apologize, Matt. This is Wendy.
Oh, go ahead, Wendy.
Courtney, I apologize. Did you say that the preventive maintenance was for the new buses or for your other fleet?
For any of our 5310 vehicles. So we have 8 total of those. which is
Okay,
pretty much our whole fleet.
okay, thank you.
Mhm. We would only use it for your guys' vehicles.
Wendy, for your preventive maintenance, do you go somewhere local? I mean, have you seen the cost of PM for these 8 vehicles kind of go up since, our post-COVID reality?
Right. We haven't done a lot of preventative maintenance because we haven't been running the vehicles. We have our maintenance or our transportation coordinator who he goes and checks on the vehicles weekly and makes sure that we have that the tires are not rotting and the air conditioning is working and all of that. But we do have some local places that we use. We use S&S Tire, we use Champs. And so we use some of the local businesses right here close to us. But we haven't seen a major increase as of right now that I've heard of.
Okay. Could you tell us what would be the effect of your program if you were not awarded PM funds?
Absolutely. We've learned, we've always said over the years, like if we didn't have transportation, what would happen? And unfortunately, we had to learn that with the pandemic. I'm sure most, if not all of you know on this committee, the transportation is few and far between out here in the Northwest Valley. We do partner a lot with Northwest Valley Connect, but that's also dependent if they have drivers who can do this or if their drivers understand the populations that we're serving. So we have used Valley Metro and other places in the past. We haven't always had the best of luck because when we're working with our individuals with dementia or Alzheimer's, they don't understand all of the techniques to use with them. We've had some bad situations where they've dropped them off at the college behind us and we weren't aware of it. So it really is a make or break to run these vehicles for these day programs to be running. Luckily, we got the driver for our Helping Partners program because we had about 6 members who were ready to try to find a different day program because of the transportation. And they didn't want to leave Benavia. And so luckily we were able to get that up and running. So without that funding, it really will prevent these individuals from getting the care and service they need. And also, before the pandemic, we had plenty of staff, but we were like the best hidden secret of our day programs. And so we were trying to market more. Now that the pandemic has flattened out, we don't have enough staff, but we have, at Lucianne's here on our main campus, we have like 20 families that are on a wait list. Mary's Place has about 15 families. So after the pandemic hit, these families realized they really do need this respite and this care and the socialization for their loved ones.
Okay, thank you very much, Courtney. Any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Courtney, thank you very much for coming in and tell us about the Benavia story.
Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We appreciate it and we're very thankful for you guys.
All right, thank you, Courtney.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye. You too, bye-bye.
Thank you. Our next agency at 135, I'm not sure if they're on yet, but it is Excel. They have a PM and vehicle request.
All right. Zacchaeus, let us know when the...
Okay, yeah, it looks like we have 2 of them already, so I'm just gonna let them in. One of them is the grant writer, and the other one is Jesse Bustamante. Hi, can you hear us? Hi, Jesse, you will mute.
Hello, I can hear you.
Is there anybody else from your agency that will be joining us today?
Yep, so I'm from Excel. We have Jackie Ehrenberg and we have Mitchell Moore, who's also going to be calling in. So he might be a phone number that you see as well.
All right, so we can wait a little bit longer. All right, Mitchell is joining the meeting as well. Hi, Mitchell, can you hear us?
I can hear everyone. Thank you.
All righty. So it looks like we got everybody here. All right. Well, Excel, welcome and thank you for your time here today. I'm Matt Dudley. I'm the vice chair of the ad hoc committee. Just like to go over a few things before we begin. We're going to be keeping track of time, so staff will indicate the time remaining at the 5-minute and 1-minute mark. And what that'll do is you'll see something pop up on the screen. They'll say 5 minutes remaining or 1 minute remaining. This interview is also being recorded. For your presentation, please provide an introduction, include your names and titles of those presenting, and give me a very brief overview of Excel. I'm looking for something no more than a minute. And most importantly, please describe your project request and needs. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. So with that, I will turn that over to you guys.
Great. Thank you for having us. Again, my name is Jessie Bustamante. I'm the Chief Advancement Officer. We have Jackie Ehrenberg on with us, who is our grant writer, and we also have Mitchell Moore, who's our Chief Financial Officer. To give you a very brief overview of Excel, we serve the greatest individuals in town. We serve individuals who have very severe, profound special needs or developmental disabilities. And our goal is ultimately help them be as independent and successful as possible. This may be through educational services, therapy, vocational, employment training, whatever it may be. Our end goal is that these individuals in our city, in our community, have a really successful life where they can thrive. So our job is to do whatever we can to make sure that we support them in those endeavors. And with that, I will pass it over to Jackie to talk about our application.
So we submitted an application for 5 vehicles, 3 of them being minivans with ramps and 2 of them being passenger vehicles with no lifts. This is primarily because we need more vehicles, not only to get our members to and from our day programming that we have in the Metro Center area, in the East Valley, and in the Buckeye area, but we also need to get them to and from volunteer and vocational programming, group supported employment, and such. And so the vehicles are used all day long, not just at the beginning and the ending of the day. And so we are looking for some more vehicles to help spread out the transportation, as well as $72,000 in preventive maintenance. Can I write that? Yeah.
Okay. All right, questions from the committee. All right, Jesse, could you tell me what would be the effect to Excel if your program were not awarded either with the vehicles or the preventive maintenance?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I will actually pass this up to our CFO, Mitchell Moore.
Sure. So obviously we want to do a good job taking care of our vehicles, especially with preventative maintenance, all the necessary repairs that go along with managing a fleet. And so while we're able to do that today, all of the additional funding that we can bring in is another dollar that we can shift towards serving one of our clients directly in the community rather than putting it into a vehicle. So that's really the biggest impact for us on the preventative maintenance.
Okay.
Obviously, having the vehicles to begin with is crucial. So that combination allows us to take the other resources we have and put it straight into our quality and volume of services we offer in the community.
Okay. Mitchell, have you seen since the increase in cost, has Excel seen an increase when it comes to preventive maintenance cost when you're taking these vehicles in pre-COVID versus our post-COVID reality?
Yeah, post-COVID, I think is best described to me as, I'm sure you've seen or heard about how the 5 blind people are touching an elephant, trying to describe it, to figure out what it is. A CFO friend of mine said, now it's running. And so trying to figure out what that looks like between supply chain and inflation issues, how those things are affecting the price of parts, the availability of labor. Thankfully, we've been really lucky to have a great partner in our repair facilities. We use a couple, but we are definitely seeing a rise in the cost. We're probably around the 4x mark right now between looking at gas and then while our price for oil changes, things like that have stayed consistent. Everything else is going through the roof if you can find the part.
Okay. All right. Any other comments from the committee? All right, hearing none. Excel, would you like to add anything else? Nope, you good?
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming today and presenting to us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, thanks, you too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Zacchaeus, I know we're way early.
Yes, we do have the opportunity tree at 1:50.
And they're not yet in the waiting room. I have already messaged them.
Perfect.
You can get in already.
Zacchaeus, you're my mind reader there. All right. So we'll just kind of hang out and then let us know, Zacchaeus, when we need to jump back on.
And Kelly, is anybody else from the Opportunity Tree joining us today?
Yes, Taylor is. I just texted him to see. I don't know if he got the email or not.
Okay, so we'll wait until Taylor joins in so we can start since we're ahead of schedule. Thank you.
All right, he's joining right now.
All right, Vice Chair Dudley.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for your time here today. My name is Matt Dudley. I'm the Vice Chair of the Ad Hoc Committee. I'd like to go over a few things before we begin. To keep track of time, MAG staff will indicate the time remaining at both the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, and this will be delineated by a message on the screen. This interview is being recorded, and for your presentation, could you please provide an introduction, include your names and titles of those presenting, and give me a very brief overview of the Opportunity Tree, no more than a minute. And most importantly, please describe your project request and need, and then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. And with that, I will turn it over to you guys.
Well, thank you so much for having us today. We are so grateful for the partnership that we have with MAG. It's helped us tremendously over the last few years. We're the Opportunity Tree. We provide supports for youth and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, or IDD. We serve about 300 members a year. Now we have 4 campuses, one in Phoenix, one in Casa Grande, one in Avondale, and one in the city of Maricopa. We also have 22 community living sites throughout the Valley and Casa Grande. And we've been doing this for about 57 years. I'll turn it over to Taylor, and he can talk a little bit about the need that we have in our grant.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having us. As Kelly mentioned, we're grateful for our partnership with MAG and your support. As many of you probably know, individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities face many challenges that people without those disabilities may face. Discrimination in housing, employment, and other venues mean many people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as those that support them, must work that much harder to make sure that, to ensure access to those opportunities that those individuals deserve. Perhaps the greatest challenge faced by members of this population is a lack of reliable and accessible transportation. To overcome this challenge, the Opportunity Tree is requesting assistance in acquiring a total of 4 vehicles, 2 raised roof vehicles with lifts, in addition to 2 passenger vans without lifts. As the Opportunity Tree and our society in general looks to re-engage with our community post-COVID, these vehicles will assist the Opportunity Tree as we continue to provide our quality and individualized supports to each of our members at our Phoenix campus. The Opportunity Tree's employment services, day training for adults, youth transitions, and community living programs each offer supports to roughly 100 members every day at our Phoenix site. And those members often rely on vehicles that are either not accessible or soon will be in need of replacement. So as the Opportunity Tree is an employment first agency, it is our belief that all individuals, including those with the most significant disabilities, are capable of full participation in competitive and integrated employment, as well as in broader community life. As this philosophy runs through all of our programs, it manifests through volunteer opportunities, job shadowing, community college courses, community integration, and other opportunities, in order to prepare our members as they learn the skills necessary to compete in today's workforce. So while accessible, reliable, and timely transportation is not the only resource necessary to achieve this goal, without it, few of the other options are attainable. As Kelly mentioned, Kelly and I, as well as all of the members and the staff of the Opportunity Tree, want to thank you for your consideration as we continue to work toward the development of a society that fully embraces people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Questions from the committee? All right. Hey, could you guys tell us what would be the effect of your program if you were not awarded either the expansion vehicles or the replacement vehicles?
It would, we would still do what we're doing. It would make it more difficult. We're embarking on this, as Taylor said, employment first philosophy. And one of the biggest hurdles to get people to employment is having the accessible vehicles. We plan on expanding about 20% at our Phoenix campus this year with our youth program. Our youth program over the last couple of years has really taken off. And those individuals that are graduating from high school are offered our employment program first, which a lot of them will take. And we need more vehicles to get them out to the job sites where they're going to be working.
Excellent. Do you see a lot of this increased use, just, that pent up demand coming out of COVID?
Oh, yes, we have people clamoring to get back to our programs. The other biggest hurdle we have is staffing as well, is trying to get staff in here. But we've brought back just this March, we've brought back about 30 people to our employment program, our site-based employment program, and are starting to reopen up our community employment sites.
Okay. When it comes to drivers, Kelly, that seems to be one of the trends that we've heard today is the difficulty in getting drivers back. What is the opportunity tree trying to do to get some of these drivers back?
We are pretty fortunate. Yes, drivers are a small commodity here, but we hire, and one of the expectations is to driving. The other thing that we're doing is we actually have a driver training program. So before anyone drives any of our, especially our big MAG buses, they go through an in-class training program and also a driving test. And we find that makes our staff more comfortable driving because they have that extra support to know, what it's like to drive the bus, how to do the tie downs and things like that. And we found out great success with that by training our drivers. It makes them more, I wouldn't say excited to drive, but it makes them more comfortable in driving and they're more willing to do it.
Excellent. Is there anything else you guys would like to add?
I don't think so. Do you?
All right.
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from the committee? All right. Hearing none. Thank you very much for coming and presenting today.
Again, thank you for your time.
Thanks, folks.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That takes us to our break. Till about 2:15. So, all right, anybody have any questions? All right, so we got about a half an hour. Everybody come back about 2:15. See you then.
Thank you.
All right, Dee Dee, I am back.
We do have our next applicants.
Dee Dee or Hezekiah, for tomorrow, can you send me the schedule pretty much like we had for today, so that way I can just kind of go and click off the agencies as we go by.
I'm saying okay, but I'm going to rely on Hezekiah to forward that. I believe we have everybody here.
Yes, we have everybody here, and we do have the representatives from STAR on the line already. I'm just gonna bring them in right now.
Next, we have Stand Together and Recover. I believe we have Susan Legander and Michelle. They are requesting PM and vehicles.
Okay. Suzanne and Michelle, you guys on?
It's Suzanne and Deborah.
Oh,
Suzanne and
sorry.
Suzanne's in a different. It's
all right, Suzanne and Deborah. All right, here we go. Well, welcome and thank you for your time here today. My name is Matt Dudley. I am the vice chair of the MAG Ad Hoc Committee. I'd just like to go over a few things before we begin.
All right.
To keep track of times, MAG staff will indicate the time remaining at both the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, and that'll be delineated by a message on the screen. This interview is also being recorded, and for your presentation, please provide an introduction, include your name and title of those presenting, and give me a very brief overview of your agency, looking about a 1-minute time frame. But most importantly, please describe your project request and the need, and then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. So with that, I will turn it over to you guys.
So, hello, my name is Suzanne Legander. I'm the CEO for STAR, Stand Together and Recover Centers. With me, I have Deborah Minke, who is my executive assistant and our primary person in charge of all of our vans for maintenance things. And then we have also Sarah Brown, who is picking up and learning many of those skills as our backup person for our transportation program. STAR is a nonprofit organization that serves all of the Maricopa County and a little bit into Pinal County with Apache Junction. And we provide integrated care. So we provide behavioral health as well as physical health services to adults, many of which are very low income and are dependent on public transportation or walking places. And they also are disabled adults that have various health factors. One of the issues that we have added with our integrated care is all of the chronic health conditions that tend to be part of the social determinants of health, where a person, based on their circumstances, ends up having higher incidence of diabetes and obesity and asthma and other heart issues, and dealing with cancers and other things, both due to their living conditions, maybe in older homes that have asbestos or bad mold and other issues. So we provide services to them. Many of the services we provide could be everything from bringing them to a farmer's market to a doctor's appointment and advocating for them, helping them get the necessary benefits that they're eligible for. And we actually are in at all of the Valley-wise hospitals doing inpatient care for them and transporting them home or to a shelter upon discharge and helping them get housing and job skills. So really helping them from the ground up with everything that we do. And our vans that we get through MAG are just amazingly beneficial to us in helping to meet all of these needs. We've added also in the last year and a half that we've been doing vaccines for COVID. We're actually the longest running point of distribution in the state of Arizona. And we have been doing vaccines for the low income population as well as first responders all the way back to February 3rd of last year.
Okay.
Deborah, or that, do you have anything that I missed that you'd like to add? Okay, and you're on mute right now. Okay.
All righty. Let's begin with questions from the committee. Are there any questions? All right, Suzanne, could you tell us what would be the effect of your program if you were not awarded either like the preventive maintenance or the replacement vehicles or the expansion vehicles?
Well, we try to put as much money as possible directly to our members. So some of the things that we're able to do by having the grants for the vehicles as well as for the maintenance, which we're really excited about this year, we end up having to use those monies instead for those maintenance and purchasing of new vehicles, which would reduce the amount of staff we'd be able to have. We now have a benefit specialist and we have a housing specialist, and we have, sorry, my dog is drinking water right next to me and is extremely loud in the process, so I apologize for that. We would end up not being able to have the opportunity to utilize the money directly for the benefits. One of the things that we can do through the helping with the grants is that we are able to cover medications for people who are uninsured that really need some of these medications, such as insulin and diabetes management and other types of prescription medications. So it would both shorten the amount of staff that we'd be able to have, as well as the array of services we'd have, as well as additional funds that can go to unmet needs of our membership. So we could also help cover some identification cards for people who are homeless and are on the street and they need assistance with, because they got robbed or something, to get new IDs and birth certificates and things like that.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Could you also maybe give me a little more kind of a background on your preventive maintenance program? Do you outsource that locally? How does that work?
So we go a combination of things. We go through the state recognized repair place for the state of Arizona, but we also have a program where, and I want to say it's Firestone, but I can't remember what it is. But they come to us, and one of the things we were finding is we were having so many times where we'd lose a van for 3 days just to do oil change and tire rotations or things that we can now have that done on site, which is fabulous. And it's really financially affordable, so that we have those vans in use as much as possible at all times.
Have you seen your maintenance rates go up after coming out of COVID?
Yes. Well, one is some of our vans weren't being driven as much, though we had a slightly different thing. Although we didn't have as many field trips and activities to go on, what we ended up doing was we took our vans and we made, we were able to get a lot of food from the food bank. We cooked the food, and then we, because with the restaurants and things that were kind of out of business were slow, we ended up having situations where we had big vat food. We had big cans of food from restaurants. We were able to take the food, cook it with our chefs, keep them employed, and then deliver the food hot to our members so that they didn't have to use the bus to go and put themselves at risk with COVID. And we were also able to bring food to those that were on the streets, or have them knock on our door and we would open it up and we'd give them a couple days of food. So that was really helpful. And we were trying to be really creative in that. We only have 1.2% of all of our membership ever ended up with COVID during this entire pandemic. And that is when I think it's 26% of everyone in Maricopa County has had COVID. It's a huge thing when you have no car to keep yourself safe in and you're dependent on public transportation.
Exactly. All right. Any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Suzanne, Deborah, and Sarah, thank you very much for coming and presenting to us today.
Okay. All right. Thank you very
day.
much. Thank you. I appreciate all of your time and efforts.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee, Vice Chair. Next, we have Arizona Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And again, this is a new agency. Zacchaeus, are they in the waiting room?
Yes, they're in the waiting room. I'm letting them in right now. Hello, Michelle, Virginia, and Steve. Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Welcome. I'm Matt Dudley. I'm the Vice Chair of the MAG Ad Hoc Committee, and I just want to go over a few things before we begin our applicant interview. To keep track of time, MAG staff will indicate the time remaining both at the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, and that will be delineated on the screen. This interview is also being recorded. And for your presentation, please provide an introduction, include the names and titles of those presenting, and a very brief overview of your agency, about 1 minute. And most importantly, please describe your project request and your need. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. So with that, I will turn it over to you guys for your presentation.
Great. Thanks so much. And thank you for inviting us to be here this afternoon. My name's Michelle Hargraves, and I am the Director of Development at ACBVI, the Arizona Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Joining me today from ACBVI is Virginia Thompson. She's the Director of Assistive Technology and Information Technology for the center, and our Executive Director, Mr. Steve Tepper. Without any further ado, I will turn this over to Steve to start the overview of our agency and the rest of our presentation.
So thank you guys for having us. I serve on a similar grant panel for the city of Chandler, and I know that it's a labor of love to take time out of your day to try to help the broader community. So thank you guys so much for your service. And every time someone calls me anything that starts with Mr., I try to look around the room and figure out who they're talking about, because it certainly couldn't be me. Our agency serves adults age 16 and up who lose their vision either through an accident or an illness, and we help them regain their independence and then return to work. Additionally, our agency is one of the very few in the state that provides the same services for those who have combined vision and hearing loss and those who are deafblind. So I did want to talk to you a little bit about the need and why we applied for the grant, and it kind of will wrap into that brief, description of the project. Our clients, by necessity, do not drive. They rely on rides. The majority of them use dial-a-ride, but there are also other systems that feed into that. What is similar for all of our clients is that they get, regardless of what service they use, they get a phone call about 15 minutes before their ride arrives. All of our clients are at or below the poverty line, so they're living in Section 8 housing. They go outside to wait for the ride because if you miss the ride, you're done for the day and you don't get the training that you need. And so they go outside with their white cane and wait for the ride. Sometimes that ride comes within the 15 minutes, and sometimes it comes hours later, and sometimes it doesn't come at all. And so a great example was Monday morning. And by the way, 2/3 of our staff are blind or living with a visual impairment. So one of our staff members Monday morning was scheduled to get picked up at 6:30. They waited outside from 6:30 until they got picked up at 8:15. So it's really hard, if not impossible, to achieve the goals that we all want for these clients, which is we want them to have independence and we want them to have meaningful employment. But when you are on an irregular basis late for work, or some days not even able to show up at all, and it's not your fault, it makes employment really, really challenging. And so for us, what we are hoping to do, and what we do a limited amount of now, is provide rides to our clients and our staff so that they are able to more consistently come to the center. For our staff, it means retaining gainful employment, although very honestly, we're not letting anyone go because the ride didn't come. But for our clients, it means continuing their training. So their training on average goes on for 12 months. They train for 6 to 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, in order to get to a stage where they can get that job. When they miss a day, they lose all of that momentum. When they show up late, they lose all of that momentum. And I'm sure you can imagine how challenging it is to relearn basic skills when you have lost your vision. And so when you are out there waiting for a ride, you don't come in the right frame of mind, and it ruins your entire day. Right now, we provide limited rides for our clients because we only have one vehicle, and we do it with internal staff driving that vehicle. And they're able to do that. They receive driver training from Teros, who really leans in and helps our agency. But we serve people all across Maricopa County, and it is impossible with one vehicle to get people here for the schedule that we need. And hence we turn to MAG and to you to hopefully expand our ability to offer these rides by expanding our vehicle count. We believe that with 3 vehicles, we can safely and properly transport our clients, get them to the center for their learning, get them home, and at times where the vehicles aren't being used for that, be able to provide transportation to and from medical appointments and other errands, which is hugely impactful for our clientele. Transportation continues to be a huge issue. So even if you can get lined up to get your ride to the doctor and the doctor sees you on time and therefore you get your ride home, you still need to figure out how are you getting your prescriptions. And so to be able to offer that service is life altering for our clients. And it also puts them in a key position to be able to return to work. The other point that I will bring up is that our current vehicle is not accessible. We felt like we were so lucky to get a gently used minivan. Gently used had 30,000 miles on it. Minivan, because in this market, it's impossible to get vehicles. But the majority of our clients are living with multiple disabilities. Blindness or their visual impairment is usually lower on the list compared to some of the other facets that they deal with. And so we serve people who are non-ambulatory, people who use walkers, and to be able to get accessible vehicles will be a game changer for us and will allow us to serve the full breadth of clients. One of the things that I think we're most proud of is we are who the state turns to when the clients have multiple disabilities and they don't believe that there is a high chance of success. And our staff, who are miracle workers, go out and turn those cases around, but we need the transportation in order to do it. It's the very bedrock on which all of this sits. So If we are able to become a subcontractor for the state, that will help us with reimbursement and help offset some of the costs. If we aren't, we still very much would be moving forwards with this service and have budgeted for it, and our board is understanding of it because it is such a key and important part of how we serve our clients and serve the community. All of us win when these clients go back to work. And that's really what we're after.
All right.
With that, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was about to say, I think the same thing that you were. What questions do you have for us?
Yes. I was going to ask the committee if he had any questions. Well, I do have a question, Steve. So you are a first-time agency to this program. I would like to kind of hear how you guys heard about us.
Sure. So I used and was a recipient of these grant funds when I was younger, much younger, at the Tucson Jewish Community Center. And additionally, we have been partnering with Teros on all kinds of health equity issues because health equity is an enormous issue for our clients. And they also have been a prior recipient of these funds. And our agency, a number of years ago, also was a recipient of these funds, probably 25 years ago, I believe.
Okay. And you mentioned you had one previous vehicle, so you're looking at getting a few others. So do you feel you're adequately staffed up to maintain, drive? I know it's difficult getting drivers these days out there for just about anything. You feel like you can get the drivers for these vehicles?
So I want to be very honest with you. We do, but that changes minute by minute, as I think it does for everybody else. What we are committed to is our staff can't teach the clients if the clients can't get here. And so if we are unable to get drivers, we will do a larger version of what we are doing now, which is having our sighted staff use the vehicles to pick up the clients. And our insurance company has signed off on that.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the committee? All right, hearing none. Excellent. Well, thank you guys very much for coming in presenting today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you guys for your time. We really appreciate it. And I hope that you all have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Again, we are ahead of schedule. Our next agency is Beatitudes at 2:45, and they are requesting preventive maintenance.
Okay.
We have one person on the waiting room, but it looks like they will have more. I'll admit that one and see.
Yeah, we can give them a few minutes.
Hi, John. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hi, John.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing? Are you going to be the only one presenting, or do you?
No, we have another Ken Pham shortly.
All right, so we'll wait for him. Thank you. Hello, Ken. Can you hear us? Hello, Ken.
Hello.
Hi, Vice Chair Dudley.
All right. Well, welcome and thank you, gentlemen, for your time here today. My name is Matt Dudley. I'm the Vice Chair of the MAG Ad Hoc Committee. I'd like to go over a few things before we begin, and that's to keep track of time. MAG staff will indicate the time remaining at the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, which will be delineated on the screen. This interview is also being recorded. And in regard to your presentation, just please provide an introduction, including the names of the titles of those presenting, and create a very brief overview of Beatitudes, looking for nothing more than a minute. And most importantly, please describe your project request and the need. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. So with that, I will turn that over to you, John.
Alrighty, thank you guys very much. So I'm John Schilling, the Director of Community Engagement at Beatitudes Campus. And Ken, if you want to introduce yourself to the crew.
Hi, I'm Ken Fomby. I'm the Transportation Manager there at Beatitudes Campus.
All right, thank you, Ken. So yeah, Beatitudes is grateful for the opportunity to submit a preventative maintenance application to Section 5310, Enhanced Mobility of Elderly and Individuals with Disabilities. For over 50 years, Beatitudes Campus has served seniors in North Central Phoenix as a non-for-profit life plan community. We have nearly 650 residents with an average age of 87 that live across our continuum of care, which consists of independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, rehab, early memory support, and advanced memory support. Our mission is to inspire purpose and vibrancy in life's journey. Our residents live brightly and age boldly. Resident engagement is our priority as it leads to more successful aging experiences. The Beatitudes Campus Transportation Program provides fulfillment for our residents' desires to stay engaged and maintain their health and independence. We are respectively requesting $16,000 federal grant funding through MAG and the City of Phoenix to apply towards the preventative maintenance of Section 5310 vehicles in our fleet. Our commitment is firm to provide the local match amount of $4,000 for this project through the Beatitudes Campus Foundation. We have a long history of providing matching funds for all MAG and City of Phoenix transportation projects. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's begin with questions from the committee. Are there any questions? All right, hearing none, I'll ask a few. So Ken or John, in regard to preventive maintenance, can you talk to me about how the cost of preventive maintenance has either changed or not changed coming out of COVID?
Yeah, Ken, I'll let you answer this one since Ken primarily works with the preventive maintenance program that we have on vehicles.
So as far as coming out of COVID, nothing's really changed as far as preventative maintenance. We incur higher costs in the summertime with air conditioning units that are failing, vehicles that are aging that are costing a little bit more money to upkeep and maintain because the parts are wearing out. We need to do a little bit more work on them because of the aging of the vehicles.
Okay. Is most of the maintenance activities done offsite or on-site?
Mostly offsite. If it's something that I can handle in-house, then I can do that for the smaller stuff, but the majority of it is out of house.
Okay. And could you tell us what would be the effect of the program if you guys were not awarded these PM funds?
Sure, I can take that one. So, we strive to make sure that our vehicles have safety in mind for our residents who do utilize them. And our mission is to serve older adults. So we would pull money from other places to make sure we're offering these types of transportation to our residents on campus. So that is kind of where we would land if we did not given the opportunity for these funds. We would still be serving our mission and vision to our residents and our older adult population, but we would have to look in other areas of our campus to kind of defer to cover the costs of the preventive maintenance.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions from the committee? All right. Hear none. John or Ken, anything else you want to like to add?
I'm good. No, we just appreciate you guys listening to us and hearing our story of the Beatitudes campus, and we look forward to continuing a relationship with y'all.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming and giving us a presentation today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
You
as
too.
well.
All right. Bye.
Okay, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Our last agency is Mark Community Resources. They are requesting for vehicles, and I believe the time is at 3 o'clock. As kids, are they here
I
yet?
have one of them in here. I'll let them in and see if it's gonna be just this one or if they're gonna have any others. Hello, Mark. Can you hear us? Hi, Mark. You are on mute.
There you go. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Doing good. How are you?
I'm trying to figure out how to work the computer.
All right. I have you here, but I know that you have other people in your team. Are they also joining this meeting, or is it?
Yeah, they're going to join the meeting. I just don't know if they got your email and noticed that they were able to join early. So.
All right. So we'll wait until they join. Is it going to be both Nelly and?
Nelly and Terry are the two I'm expecting. Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll wait for them. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Nelly. How are you?
I'm good. Are we up now or?
I have you and Mark. Is
Oh,
anybody
hi,
else
Mark.
joining?
Mm-hmm.
Is Terry also going to join?
Hello.
Is that you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello. And yeah, should we have another minute? I don't know if the rest of our team members have received the message that we would be starting early, so my apologies.
No problem.
I'll see if I can try to text them to join us, but I guess we could proceed and hopefully the rest will join us after if
It's up to you if you want to wait or if you want to get a hold of them and let them know so they can join,
Mark,
and then we can get started.
Mark, what should we do? Should we go ahead and contact them to have them join us?
Well, I think we can get started. And if Terry joins us a little bit later, if there's program questions, she can certainly answer those. But I think, we can start with the overview if you'd like and go from there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Okay.
Vice
All right,
Chair Dudley.
We'll do that then, and welcome and thank you guys for your time here today. I'm Matt Dudley. I'm the Vice Chair of the Ad Hoc Committee. Let's go over a few things before we begin. The first is to keep track of time. MAG staff will indicate the time remaining on both at the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark, and we'll see that delineated on the computer screen. This interview is also being recorded. And for your presentation, just please provide an introduction, include the names and titles of those presenting, and give a very brief overview of your agency. But most importantly, please describe your project request and the need. And then the remainder of the time will be open for questions from the committee. So with that, I will turn that over to you, Mark and Nelly.
Thank you, committee members, group members joining us today. We are Mark Community Resources, a subsidiary of COPA Health. Our mission here is that we inspire health, hope, and happiness by delivering world-class solutions to individuals, families, and communities. Here at Mark Community Resources and Partners in Recovery have provided services to individuals with developmental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, autism, and mental health needs since 1957. And it is the largest integrated clinic operator for persons with serious mental health illness, SMI, here in Maricopa County. Presenting to you today is myself, Dr. Nellie Clouder Woods. I am COPA's Senior Grants Coordinator, and we also have online Mark Tombird. He is our Director of Facilities and Transportation, and we're hoping that others would join us as well. Mark, would you like to proceed?
Certainly. The need for the vehicle request is to replace 2 aging out vehicles that are used to pick up in the morning and afternoon delivery routes for individuals receiving services in what we call our Community Day Services Program, a DD program for day activities for individuals with those needs. Due to COVID, a lot of the activities they went on for the last several years that during the day, during the week, have been curtailed, but they're starting to replan and get back into the process of getting those folks back out into the community where they can interact with the population here in Maricopa County. So really, it's pretty simple, straightforward request. A couple of vehicles to replace 2 aging out vehicles that we'd like to remove from the fleet after the new vehicles are received.
Right. Do we have questions from the committee? Mark, I noticed that when I was going through your application, one of the vehicles, I know sometimes mileage is not indicative of the vehicle usage that it has now, but one of the, I think it was the 2014 Ford, I think only had about 64,000 miles. So could you give me the status? That's one of the vehicles you're replacing out, right?
That's correct. Both the vehicles that we're replacing are 2014s. That one has less mileage on it. It's primarily used sometimes as a backup because we've had some mechanical issues with it. Also, the wheelchair lifts wear out from the amount of use they get. And so it's just, we're trying to be prudent and making sure we're spending money on things that that don't need repairs and continue to need repairs, that we just soon have a new vehicle in the fleet to eliminate that from being an issue.
Got it. And doctor, could you tell us what would be the effect to your program if you were not awarded these vehicles?
We here at COPA consistently look for funding in the community, resources in the community to meet the needs of our program. We will consistently look for opportunities within the community if we should need to again continue the needs of our members in the program.
Okay. And obviously coming out of COVID, a lot of people, I mean, pretty much everybody in the industry, and it's one of the things we've heard today, is struggling to get drivers for the vehicles. Is that the same situation you guys are in?
Yes, we do have issues with getting staff to staff our programs at the present time. And we have, I think, maybe 2 individuals that are in the program that are actually just drivers. Everybody else in the program is hired to do another job, and driving happens to be one of the things they have to do. So yes, but we're having that same concern, same difficulty as other organizations in getting people in the door and getting them into the programs to staff us properly.
Okay, all right. Any other questions from the committee? All right, Mark, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I think we've, like I said, our request is pretty straightforward, what we need and why we need it. And we appreciate your time today and allowing us to apply for this resource for our programs.
Well, thank you very much. We're very thankful you guys came on and gave us the interview to let us know about the Mark Community Services.
All right. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
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 Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee.
That's the last one.
That's the last one. I was
Right.
just checking to see if they were out.
Okay. All right. Before we break for the day, just remind everybody to make sure you forward your interview scores to Hezekias by 4:30 today. So tomorrow we'll begin sharply at 9 a.m. and then regroup. And then I think our second round of interviews start about 9:15 a.m. I think that's about it. Are there any comments from anybody?
Matt, you're doing a great job.
All right.
Appreciate
Hey,
the
I aim to
reprieve.
please.
Thank you, sir.
And
Rapid
everybody
pace.
remember, we're still in the application review process, so please no outside discussion. So we're not technically adjourned, but we'll just break for the day.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All
Thank
right,
you, committee
everyone. I will
members.
see you tomorrow morning.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for your patience and flexibility. Have a
Not
good
a problem.
evening.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
All right. See you guys later.